me ask you something. In your home, who handles the money? Is it just one person doing all the heavy lifting? Or do you both assume the other is keeping track? Or maybe no one really knows who's in charge of what? Today's episode is for every couple, every co-parent, and every family team that's trying to grow wealth together but are feeling a little bit foggy on how to divide the family load. We are breaking down the 5 key money rules that every home needs, how to decide who does what based on strengths and not stereotypes, and simple systems that healthy families can use to stay financially aligned. So whether it's something you've thought about, we need to define. We need to define financial rules in this house. Today's episode is going to be your guide to creating clarity and confidence and working on collaboration around money at home. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Finance for Families podcast. My name is Linda Mark. I like to think of myself as that fire that is igniting those much needed family conversations on finances. Now, today we're talking money rules in the home, money rules between husband and wife, partners, family team. And let me just start by clarifying, because I know there are people who've joined us today and maybe they're thinking, really? Money rules? Who is it even that important for us to be talking about it? We just do what we can do. There's a reason why it's very important to define money rules, because money touches everything from the groceries we're using in our house to the school fees that we need to pay for the children, to the Wi-Fi that we need to pay and are all using, to family holidays that we want to go to and just relax and reset, to any long-term investments that we want to do to grow wealth. And just like any team, every household works better when the roles are clearly defined. One of the biggest challenges I feel many households have is that we rarely talk about who does what when it comes to money. I feel like for most of our families, people just fall into roles by default because maybe cultural expectations or everyone says you're good at something, that's it. Maybe dad will take care of the big bills. We expect that. We don't have to have a discussion. Mom is the one who will be the one stretching the budget to make sure everything else fits. We don't have to have a conversation about that. That is, she should know that and go along with it. But here's what happens when we don't intentionally take time to define family rules. We open doors to miscommunication where I haven't said anything out loud, but I still expect you to know what I'm thinking. And at the end of the day, then I end up feeling resentful because as a partner, I feel either I'm overwhelmed or I'm disappointed because I had made assumptions that you would take care of something and it didn't happen. And I did not tell you, but I still expected you to know that that is what I wanted from you, I wanted you to do. And perhaps, again, most importantly is, for me, I feel like if we don't define, we end up missing a lot of valuable opportunities to build wealth together. Simply because we're not sharing information, we're not trying to align our efforts together. And this, it brings us all back to one key principle: open, honest conversations. We clarify the expectations we have, we share, we all stay informed, and when you're all in the loop, it becomes better. We're in a better position to notice and act on opportunities. And these are the opportunities that are going to help us grow our wealth. Now, starting these conversations, I know, and the reason why most of us don't is because we feel they're so awkward. But think of the risk of not communicating, the missteps, the frustration, the missed potential. For me, when you think about this, it's far greater than that short-term discomfort that we will experience as we start on this journey of open, honest conversations. So then, looking back on these key rules, let's try and break down the common financial rules that currently exists in our families. And I'm sure you'll identify with this. One, we have the income earner. This is the person who goes out and is the one bringing in the money, either it's salary or they run a business or they have side hustles. So in some homes, it could be both parents coming in and being income earners. In others, it could be one parent is a stay-at-home parent. Then we have the budget manager. This is the person who tracking the bills, paying all the bills, making sure that our expenses are within our limits. So they may not be the ones who are earning the money, but they know where it's going. Then we have the long-term planner. This is a person who's thinking very far. We need to save, we need to invest. We have to start thinking of retirement. We have to think of the kids' education. So this is one who's usually very future-focused and strategic. Yeah? And then we have the family educator. This is the one who is really all about we need to learn about money, we need to improve our skills. So you'll find they always rally people to try and take them along on their financial journey, invite them, let's listen to this podcast, let's watch this webinar. So in many families, you'll find normally it could be one person who's the income earner, the budget manager, the long-term planner, the financial educator, or at times it could be a few members who have split these roles. What I feel truly matters when it comes to financial roles is that there's clarity and there's mutual agreement about who's going to take on what. So I want you at this point to just take a moment and ask yourself, in your family, in your partnership, which of these roles are you currently playing? The income earner, the budget manager, the long-term planner, or the family educator, or all of them, or none of them. Think through, did you choose this role, or did it just somehow end up landing on your lap without much discussion or even input from you? Because recognizing the difference is the first step towards creating a healthier and a more collaborative approach to managing money at home. Now, next would be us trying to figure out, so who decides on who does what? How do you actually assign these financial rules without the drama? Because one of the reasons why we avoid doing it in the first place is because we don't want the drama that is likely to come with it. We have to be very intentional and collaborative. So let me share. To avoid all the drama, I feel like there are 5 key things that we have to keep in mind when we are defining the roles in our homes. One is looking at the strengths and the skills of each and every member who's part of this team, because it starts with what you're naturally good at. If one is good at being organized, they're super organizers, then that person is likely to thrive in handling the monthly budget or managing the bills. They can organize that. If another one is good and they enjoy working with numbers or analyzing things, this could be the person who gets to be in charge of the long-term planning or researching on investments and sharing their analysis, comparing all the savings options and all that. So that is one. Strengths and skills of each family member. 2 is also the time and capacity. So because our roles need to match our real life bandwidth. If one partner is working long hours, they're juggling a very demanding job, it would be really unfair to expect them to also manage the daily budget. And at this point, let me as well add that stay-at-home parent already, they carry a very huge share of the household responsibilities, mental and emotional, and that labor has to be recognized and as well balanced with the financial tasks in a way that will feel fair. Because I feel that most times we'd always assume that if there's one parent who's staying at home, then they should be able to handle most of these things. We forget the physical, the emotional, and mental load that they normally carry throughout the day. 3rd as well is the interest and the willingness. Because again, just because someone can do it doesn't mean they should be the one doing it. And that's why it's very good to just have an open conversation. Let's get to know from each other. Which role would you actually feel comfortable taking on? Which parts of it do you feel would be overwhelming, or they'll be a bit stressful to you? And you might actually be surprised at how different things look when you take interest and comfort into account. Just because I can doesn't mean I should be the one doing it. There's someone else who can be able to do it, and maybe I just provide some insights once in a while. 4th is on financial transparency. Regardless of who's doing what, everyone who's part of that team should have access to the full picture. So we are talking no secrets, no information silos. If it's budgeting, if it's the investment accounts, we should be having them open and available to both partners, because transparency is what will build stronger financial teamwork. If I don't know what's going on, I will not be able to have input, and maybe my input would have helped us to scale. 5 is the team mentality. And this for me is like the heart of it, because it's not about it's his money or it's her job. We've created an ecosystem, and in this ecosystem, every decision, every plan, every role is for our own benefit, our own current benefit and future benefit. So let's build in, even with these rules, regular check-ins, where we sit, how are we doing, is anything feel heavy on you, how do we best support you, what can we be able to do? Because at the end of it, we are partners in this journey. We are team members in this journey. The stronger the team, the stronger the foundation, for building lasting wealth. Now, a real talk money moment. From experience coaching younger couples, especially those navigating marriage or partnerships in cultures with very strong traditional rules, this part is very important. Many of us I know grew up in homes watching just one partner handle everything financially. And most times it was the man, while the other was left out of those conversations. Now, it's what we saw, what was modeled for us. But here's the truth. Just because it's how it's always been done doesn't mean that's how or that's what will work best for you and your family, especially if it's limiting your progress or leaving you in the dark. And I tell this to the younger couples, it's okay to respectfully challenge those norms together. Together here being the key word, because that's growth. It's growth for the two of you. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to do what works for you and your partner, you and your team. And there's absolutely no shame in choosing a new path. One that you've decided this for us is rooted in collaboration, in a shared vision, mutual understanding, because that's what building real family wealth looks like. Do it together. So let me get you in on a few practices I've seen among families who are really thriving financially. And not because they're making millions, but because they're working together. And they're doing that intentionally. They're not perfect, but they've kind of like figured out a system that supports their goals, that strengthens their communication, and brings a sense of peace to their money conversations. 5 habits that I would highly recommend. One would be just having regular meetings, check-in sessions with one another. This one is a game changer. Let me tell you, it doesn't have to be long. It could be just maybe 20 or 30 minutes. We'll sit as the two of us as a couple, just checking on one another, what you're doing. Keep it very simple. Review where we are, what we are doing, talk about any upcoming expenses that we need to be. So we avoid all those surprises. We revisit any short-term or long-term goals that we are working on. And when we're doing this, it is no judgment. We don't have to have met all the goals. I don't need to have done my role to the T. No judgment. Yeah? It's not about blaming or pointing fingers. It's about looking at the numbers together and saying, okay, so this is where we are. This is where we are struggling. This is what we can do. Or let's go out and try and research and see what can we be able to do. 2 is shared financial tools. No fancy apps, just a way for us as a couple to stay organized. And you could start with something as simple as just spreadsheets. You use it to track your budget, your expenses, your savings goals, whatever will work for you. The point is, keep things visible. Keep them simple so that everyone can be able to understand when they access it, but keep it visible so that everyone knows what's going on financially. It creates that balance. Shared tools make teamwork easy. Third, again, I see clear but flexible roles. Remember, you are defining who does what, yes, but it's not carved in stone. Yeah, changes happen even within the family. And especially if we have any life changes, babies are born, you change jobs, energy levels change as you grow older. So your money roles might also need to shift a little bit too. And for me, I always encourage when you're having these conversations, revisit those roles every 6 months or so that whenever there's a major life transition, we can be able to take a step back and ask ourselves, so is it still working for both of us with the new changes that have come on? Do we need to switch or maybe redistribute any of these roles? So because that flexibility is what will help us to keep resentment out and the teamwork strong. Fourth as well is find ways to involve the kids, even the little ones. Some roles. The young ones can help with things, simple things like just making a shopping list. Or the older kids, they can do research on where we can go on holiday, the cost, all those breakdowns. That's your window as parents to start teaching all these financial literacy skills, budgeting, saving. And I've seen families where when they do that, the kids grow up knowing how to handle money, how to be able to talk about money confidently. And it starts with all those small, consistent exposures very early on. And lastly, I would say is take time and just celebrate one another. We always overlook this bit. We've said we want to do something together. We managed to do it. Let's celebrate. Yeah, it doesn't have to be very expensive. I always feel like when we share joy, it reinforces the teamwork that we are trying to build. So if you notice anything of these 5, none of them is anything complicated. They are just very simple things that we can do. And if we do them and we make it consistent, we do it from a thoughtful point of view, it will help our families move on from having chaos or confusion to better connections. And they work because all of them are rooted in communication, in shared vision, and trust and support. Building family wealth is not about one person having all the answers or doing it all. I find building family wealth is about knowing each other, trusting each other, and building a system that works for us, irrespective of the cultural norms, expectations, and all that. Because there's no one size fits all formula when it comes to defining financial rules in our family setup. What matters is your approach is intentional, it's inclusive, and it's coming from a foundation of love and respect. So if you're having the conversation, if you're listening to each other, if you're committed to growing together, you're already on the right path. Just keep showing up for each other. Wealth will come. So that's it. Thank you for joining me today. If today's conversation got you thinking about how you handle money rules at home, that's a great start. And remember, you don't have to figure it all alone. At Finance for Families, we support families like yours with practical tools, coaching sessions, open, honest conversations. We come in and start having those conversations with you to help you build confidence and create wealth as a team. Be sure to visit our YouTube channel, Finance for Families, and access some of the free webinars that we have shared there, content that we have shared that will help you grow your confidence and that of your family. Check out our socials, Instagram, LinkedIn, and as well, you're welcome to book a Generational Wealth Blueprint coaching package where we'll be able to sit down with you and your family and help you start those conversations and also craft an investment portfolio that will help you grow your family wealth. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a family or friend, with a family member or friend you care about. That's it for today, family. Again, the Finance for Families podcast is here to ignite open, honest conversations about money and investing in our families. Let's get talking and empower each other for a better financial future. Thank you and see you on the next episode.